Don't shy away from constructive criticism. Instead, view it as an opportunity for growth. Being challenged about your flaws can be uncomfortable, but it's a necessary step towards self-improvement and living a more balanced and fulfilling life. Embrace discomfort as a catalyst for positive change. Hey everyone, it's Cleofe again from Cleofe Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. We've noticed that our largest audience comes from India, so we've decided to offer the podcast in Hindi and Urdu. It's not about dubbing audio. Actually, it is a separate podcast in the Urdu and Hindi languages. You can find the link in the video description. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, let's move to the next segment, which is a deep dive with Jack and Wilson. And please hit like and subscribe if you want to help us spread the word around the globe. Hey Jack and Wilson, it's all yours.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are grabbing a stack of source material that is intensely personal, challenging, and frankly, it's designed to make all of us, you listening and us talking, a little uncomfortable.
That's really the mission here. We're diving into this whole concept of becoming a more wholesome Muslim, and the sources just insist that this process demands we look beyond, just celebrating the good deeds we already do.
Right.
We have to face our deficiencies. We have to address those imbalances head on.
Exactly. This is not a session of self-congratulation or anything like that. It's a profound exercise in introspection. The source material gives us this powerful framework for self-correction, urging you, the listener, to hold up what they call the clearest, most clarifying mirror to yourself.
And the core question they challenge us with is this. Imagine yourself, your personality, your habits, your faith. Imagine that person walk through the door right now. And you, knowing that person intimately for, say, 5 or 6 months, you saw all their blind spots. What uncomfortable truth, what genuine, sincere advice or nasiha would you realize they desperately needed to hear?
Wow. That immediately forces ownership, doesn't it? It just strips away the ability to hide behind what other people think of you.
It does. And that level of contemplation, that's your internal mirror. But sometimes, we need an external one too. The sources talk about the incredible value of a righteous friend.
Oh, yes.
The kind of friend who, and I love this quote, loves you more than they love your friendship.
I find that phrase so profound. It really defines true love because it means they value your ultimate success more than the short-term comfort of the relationship.
That's it. They'll tell you the difficult truth, even if it risks
Alienating you.
Exactly, alienating you, because they genuinely want you to be a better person. And if you're lucky enough to have a friend like that, you have to thank them, really thank them, so they feel encouraged to do it again.
Now, connecting this introspection to the bigger picture, the sources highlight a kind of transition point in every believer's life. They call it the handoff point.
Yes. There's that period where faith is inherited, right?
Yeah.
Where your parents are enforcing prayers, fasting, all of it. They often care more about your Islam than you do yourself.
We've all been there.
But there has to be a moment where it stops being something that's enforced and it becomes your active, willing pursuit.
So why is that so critical? Why can't we just ride that parental push forever?
Because, at its core, faith is based on choice and internal conviction, not just obligation to someone else. Your parents can enroll you in the best institution. You could call it the University of Rasulullah, which is his sunnah. But your success, that depends on you.
On you choosing to learn.
On you choosing to sit in that chair and take ownership of the material. Otherwise, you'll fail, even with the best curriculum in the world. That ownership is the bedrock of wholeness.
Okay, let's use that bedrock to unpack this beautiful concept of wholeness. We've said a wholesome person isn't just someone who does good things. They excel in qualities you'd expect from them, but they also develop virtues you wouldn't expect.
And that contrast is the key insight. The good quality that comes easily, let's say you're naturally eloquent or you're wealthy and so you're generous, that can actually become a source of delusion.
How so?
You rely on it and you neglect other less comfortable areas. True wholeness is that unexpected virtue that actively counters your most obvious potential flaw.
Let's get into some examples. Prophet Daud, or David, expected. He was a wealthy, powerful, successful ruler, a king.
Right. So given all the power and comfort, what might you expect him to struggle with? Maybe physical devotion, asceticism?
Sure makes sense.
And yet the sources tell us he was praised extensively, not for his kingdom, but for his extraordinary worship, his ibadah. His prayer was considered the best night prayer.
And what made it the best? Was it just the length?
It was the balance and consistency. He would pray for half the night, rest for a third, then pray for the last sixth. And his fasting was the same, fasting one day, breaking it the next. It was called the best fasting.
So he's rising from a comfortable king's bed to pray. He's giving up the king's food every other day to fast. That's the unexpected virtue.
That's the spiritual rigor. And you see that legacy carried on with his son, Prophet Solomon, who inherited this massive kingdom, commanding the wind and the jinn.
Unprecedented power.
Right. And despite that, Suleiman remained what the sources call azad ascetic, detached. He had supreme command, but retained supreme humility. That was only possible because of the balanced foundation laid by his father.
This principle works just as profoundly with the companions. Let's take Uthman. He was known for his vast wealth, so expected. He was exceedingly generous.
Of course.
Yeah.
But the unexpected virtue for a man of that immense stature was his extreme haya.
A deep shyness and modesty.
Exactly, a profound humility. He was described as the quietest person in the room. His wealth, his status, it was all hidden by this modesty. He never walked around projecting his position.
Then you have Luqman al-Hakim, immortalized in the Quran for his wisdom, his eloquent speech. Expected. A profound, articulate...
The beauty of contemplating Allah in silence.
That is so relevant today when everyone has a platform and feels the need to constantly broadcast their own voice.
It's the ultimate antidote. He avoided what the prophet warned would be a sign of the last day. People becoming fascinated by their own opinion, just talking because they're articulate, not because they have something to say.
And finally, Umar, a figure who just projects power and strength. Expected. Strong, imposing, a genius leader.
But his unexpected virtue was this immediate, unshakable humility. His ego never betrayed him. They say Shaitan would flee from him because he had figuratively kicked his ego in the mouth. If a child told him, "Oh, Umar, fear Allah," he'd immediately respond with humility, asking, "Why? What did I do?" His strength never, ever translated into arrogance.
Okay, so wholeness is about balancing the scales, but isn't it true that for most of us, just excelling in the expected virtues, like our 5 daily prayers, is hard enough?
That's a fair question, and the answer is that the unexpected virtues are what safeguard the expected ones. If you only rely on your expected good deeds, your ego will start whispering you're better than others.
Ah, I see.
But if you constantly strive for the unexpected, like deep humility even when you're successful, you build a protective spiritual fortress. The wholesomeness is the shield.
So we need a way to measure where our shields are weakest. The sources introduce a framework for this called BASIC.
Right, this framework helps us map our imbalances. Everyone is imbalanced, but we have to find the fundamental flaws. So B is for belief, your core intellectual creed.
A is for attitude.
Yeah, how you feel about the religion. Do you love it? Do you defend it with wisdom?
S is spirituality, your private worship.
Then institution, your connection to the masjid, the community. And finally, C, for contribution giving back to society.
So using this, you could have someone who's fantastic at attitude, vocal on social media, defending Islam, but they might completely lack private spirituality.
Absolutely. Or someone who has amazing private spirituality, but completely ignores the institution of the community or struggles with contribution, with serving others. They stay totally self-focused.
The sources highlight a specific danger with contribution for the wealthy. It's just so easy to write a check.
And that ease is the danger. When life gets financially easier, our tolerance for inconvenience just drops. A wealthy person might write huge checks, but if it's done remotely, a wire transfer, a check delivered by an assistant, it decreases empathy.
It turns giving into a sterile transaction.
Exactly. It fulfills a sense of responsibility, the C, but it misses the spiritual connection.
Yeah.
You contrast that with someone like Khadija, whose home was basically a soup kitchen. The giver was physically present, feeling the person's need. That protects the heart.
And this brings us right to the central, uncomfortable truth. The delusion of good deeds. Being betrayed by a quality you think makes you good.
It's the perfect analogy. A parent asks a child to clean their room. That's the mandatory duty.
Yeah.
The child doesn't do it, but says, "Mom, I bought you flowers." The flowers are nice, but they don't cover the fundamental failure.
Our good deeds can become flowers that we use to cover our fundamental sins. The early scholars even categorized this delusion. First, the scholar.
Right. They're so busy teaching or debating theory that they neglect their own heart's condition. They justify it by saying their contribution to others is enough. They know about Allah, but they don't really know Allah through personal practice.
Then, the worshiper.
This person is hyper-focused on extra prayers, extra fasts, the sunnah, but they insist on committing a major sin, or they have a severe character flaw like arrogance that they won't fix. They start looking down on others, forgetting that Allah holds us accountable for the fundamentals first.
And finally, the wealthy person who uses charity as a shield.
They feel immune because they write large checks. And critically, society reinforces this. People praise their generosity, so no one dares to correct their hidden sins. They basically treat religion like a transaction.
In the 21st century, this often gets packaged as self-care or, your yoga practice on the side. You only engage with a religion to the extent that it makes you feel good.
That's the ultimate privatization of faith. And this connects to what Ibn al-Qayyim said. Abandoning sin is the true, difficult sacrifice. Doing good deeds is easier. It feels good. It resonates with our inherent goodness, our fitra.
But abandoning sin requires denying the ego.
That's the real struggle. So if we prioritize the easy good deeds while ignoring the hard work of abandoning sin, we're just pouring water into a bucket with a hole.
And the water, the good deeds, just falls right through.
It does. And the terrifying result is that hadith of the bankrupt person. Someone who comes on the day of judgment with tons of prayer and fasting, but loses it all because they curse people, abuse them, backbited. They were good with Allah, but terrible with people. And that one flaw bankrupted them.
So we need to stop the bankruptcy. What's the practical path to building this balanced wholeness?
Priority number one, always, is the mandatory duties, the farads, halal and haram. In an age of algorithms that just feed you what you want to hear, you have to actively seek out the truth you might not like. You have to fix the fundamentals.
Overcome the algorithm. I like that.
And priority two is implementing voluntary acts that infuse goodness into all 5 BASIC categories. Things like the night prayer, qiyam, are transformative. It makes you more disciplined, more reflective. It helps your character, your spirituality, your attitude, all of it.
So there's no real separation between the ritual and the practical.
Precisely. The famous saying goes, religion in its entirety is good character. The Prophet's Sunnah connects everything, from how you stand in prayer to how you treat your neighbor.
Now, in trying to achieve this, we can't all be great kings and great ascetics at the same time. We have to find our own particular genius, right?
Right. Find satisfaction in the door Allah has opened for you. If someone excels in charity, don't feel you have to be just like them. Excel in what comes easiest to you, but, and this is the key, without letting that one quality betray you by making you neglect the fundamentals.
But this shouldn't lead to complacency. It should lead to productive competition, a good envy.
The Prophet explained that envy is only permissible in 2 cases. A person given knowledge who spreads it, and a person with wealth who spends it in charity. The key is you must envy the benefit and the reward, not the position or the money itself.
So I shouldn't envy their bank account, but I should envy the reward they're getting from Allah for their generosity.
Exactly. And that drive should inspire you to maximize your own potential. If you can't give wealth, you give your time, your effort, your knowledge. It creates a community culture of racing toward good.
The ultimate historical example of that is Umar, who always saw Abu Bakr as his benchmark.
Always. Umar was always competing with Abu Bakr, trying to surpass him in good deeds. That's what drove Umar's own immense efforts. We should look at the best examples to inspire us, not the worst examples to make us feel complacent about our own flaws.
That's the ultimate takeaway. Wholeness requires balancing the expected with the unexpected, humility in power, silence and eloquence, and fiercely fighting that delusion that one good deed can cover for a fundamental flaw. Wholesome individuals create a wholesome community.
And here's a final thought to leave you with, something to think about as you hold up that mirror. Sincere repentance can actually turn a sin into a good deed because you feared Allah and turned back in humility. But relying too much on one good deed while ignoring your sins can leave you spiritually bankrupt. True progress, the really hard progress, is often measured by the sins we abandon, not just the extra good deeds we accumulate.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you're a truth seeker, yearning for divine light and ready to step out of darkness, now is your moment. The truth is that Allah is the one and only creator of the universe. He has sent over 124,000 messengers and prophets to guide humanity, starting with Adam and culminating with the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. If you resonate with this message, you might be ready to embrace Islam. Simply recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. For further support, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. You can send us a private message there. The link is in the video description. Don't wait until it's too late. We look forward to connecting with you soon.